Max, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Emily, are you there?
Yup.
Amber, are you there?
Yes.
Tessa, are you there?
Yes.
Nathan, are you there?
Yes.
All right, thank you. In today's society, we use it every day, and to most, its usage comes as a second nature. Have you ever stopped to think about how it works, or ever wanted to learn about it? Of course, the item being spoken about is a car. It may not be as complex as you think, and most people could benefit from a bit of common knowledge about it. Since mechanic shops have opened up, dodgy sales tactics, blatant lies, and extortion has occurred. According to ABC News, Joe, a mechanic for 40 years, provided some insight, saying, some mechanics may try to squeeze money out of customers by doing unnecessary repairs. And what I can say to this is by knowing some common nomenclature of a car, you have the ability to test this information. So let's say a person were to come up to you and try and sell you blinker fluid. You would be able to know that this blinker fluid does not actually exist and would not benefit you in any way. And when it comes to cars, anyone could learn some nomenclature and functions of them. And it comes down to two basic parts to learn about the major functions of it. First, we'll be talking about is the engine. According to Car and Driver's website, an internal combustion engine is a heat engine that converts energy from burning gasoline into mechanical work or torque. And what that basically means is an engine needs three basic things to get running, and that would be spark, electricity, fuel, which in this case would be gasoline, and compression, in which the compression stage, it takes the fuel and a mixture of air into a small little cylinder, and it's compressed down and sparked to create a miniature explosion inside of your engine. This is used to basically form the power in your engine, and then the power goes to the transmission and other auxiliary features. These auxiliary features could include the AC, the alternator, the cooling system, otherwise known as your radiator and your fan, and more. Engines produce RPMs, which are revolutions per minute via the serpentine belt. Now, what these revolutions per minute mean is basically along that system of where your engine provides the power of the serpentine belt to go around, that serpentine belt is what basically provides the power to the rest of the auxiliary features. That would also let you know if, too much power is being drawn at certain points. The second feature I would like to talk about is the drivetrain, including the transmission. According to Popular Mechanics website, an oil-filled torque converter multiplies the engine's torque and allows slippage. What that basically means is here inside the transmission, there is an item called the torque converter. It takes the power from the engine directly into the transmission and multiplies the torque, which is the mechanical work done by the engine, and is able to use that to stop the car, or it's able to use that to change the gears to make the car move faster at a lower RPM, and so on and so forth. That power is trickled down to the U-joint and the drive shaft, down to the differential axles right here, and to your wheels. This is a basic rear-wheel drive system, just to, some of them are kind of different, but this is the best display for it. Here, the wheels would be receiving the power, and that creates your car's ability to move. The fuel would also be going right here towards the engine as a little simple thing. And basically, most cars that you'll see today have an automatic changer inside the transmission, which changes the gears automatically for you, so you don't have to anymore. It is not only important to have simple nomenclature and knowledge, but also preventative tactics and skills. This means there's a bunch of things that can go wrong with your car. There's, a common thing where people will hear a squeaky noise from their engine and basically turn up the radio to ignore it. Instead, what I say is most people should probably instead search for that noise and find it. That way they could figure out where it's coming from and eliminate that noise. Or they could take it to a mechanic or deal with it in any way they please. But by doing this, you can narrow it down for their research, figuring out what a common problem may be with your car, and maybe if there's a code running in your car, you can figure out where that code's issue is coming from. This could prevent from mechanics misleading you. Now, when a mechanic misleads you, they're trying to sell you something that you don't necessarily need. Like, let's say you're having a problem with your serpentine belt. Your serpentine belt came off. The mechanic may try and tell you, oh, it's your transmission. That's an entirely different part of the car. You do not need a new transmission. So doing your research on an issue could help prevent thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars being wasted on improper diagnosis. A self-diagnosis basically could help you narrow down this issue. And here's a little thing that I found. It's a little self-diagnosis, just I believe everyone should know. Coolant, this is your exhaust right here. This is, the air that comes out of your car. If it's white or gray, that could mean that there's a coolant leak. If it's blue or, a bluish gray, that could mean you have an oil leak. Or if it's dark black, that means you're using way too much fuel in your car, which I guarantee most of us don't want to be overusing their fuel in the car as it is expensive. AAA Research state car complaints is another website that you can use to find, issues with certain cars. AAA, in one of their articles, AAA Research stating how emergency braking with pedestrian detection doesn't do much at all, which could help you from buying, an improper car that really has a feature that doesn't work. And I guess at the end of all this, you can learn how to basically prevent yourself from buying certain things you don't need. And why mechanics are misleading you is more something along the lines that they're just trying to get money for their shop. And at a certain point, you have to kind of understand that. But if there ever comes a point in, when you're working on a car, if you think it's dangerous, don't do it. Thank you. I'm going to have you guys do roll call one more time. Could you all say you're here? Real quick.
Here.
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 All right, thank you.